Hey, it's Tom and welcome to a new Synth video. I hope you have a great day. I have a great day because Arturia sent over the new Astro Lab avant-garde stage keyboard. What is Astro Lab? Well, Astro Lab is a new keyboard slash synthesizer with which Arturia tries to go a similar way as Roland with his Zen Core and Roland Cloud. They're bringing their software to hardware. Astro Lab is basically a hardware version of the Analog Lab software or Analog Lab Pro software. And you can do all the customizations and so on. Now we are unboxing this and then we are looking at this unit, what it can do and so on. This is, however, not a review because I don't have the time with Easter holidays and so on. So a review will come later. So let's unbox it. Ui, that thing is heavy. It's definitely not a plastic bomb. So, typical brown box from Arturia, Astro Lab, avant-garde stage keyboard, takes the stage. Yeah, let's unbox it further. Ooh. That looks great. Power supply. A ladder, registration card, and a documentation. That's nice. USB cable, and oh, interesting. It's a big one. So no another wall dingsy boomsy. It's heavy. A bit of smell from the factory. And now the unboxing thing. Welcome to Astro Lab, the new stage keyboard slash synthesizer from Arturia. At first glance can be a bit unusual, especially for synth lovers. Few parameters, lots of space. It's definitely not a knobby monster synth like the Matrix Brute or the Poly Brute. This is an instrument for the players, less for the tweakers. Inside, however, it's a total opposite. The engine is one of the most powerful digital engines I have seen and played so far. The Analog Lab Pro plugin is here the core of it. The software that bundles all the sounds of the V collection and Pigment synthesizer in one player instrument. To put it in simple words, Astro Lab is the hardware version of the Analog Lab Pro plugin, and you get all the flexibility you have in the plugin in the Astro Lab hardware, so endless sound possibilities await you. From the hardware, it's very elegantly crafted in white, with light brown wooden elements for an extra contrast. This leaves a nice, high-quality impression in my opinion. For the keyboard, Arturia did not choose classic synth keys, but rather a full-size, semi-weighted keyboard with velocity and monophonic aftertouch keys, like we know from other stage keyboards. As a non-professional player, I can give you a perfect early impression of the quality. It is also my first keyboard in this format, so even tougher. I'm more of an avant-garde player and casual black key pusher than everything else. Letting a cat walk over the keys probably says more than my weird key combos. I can say from my impression, the keyboard feels good and is on a solid quality level, but I'm sure there are better ones. But takes everything with caution what I say here. Then we have on the top left a pitch and mod wheel, made of aluminium I think, but not sure. They have a good feel. A nice extra feature has the mod wheel. It comes with a blue light indicator that gives you real-time feedback. And you can change the octave or transpose the keyboard with 2 buttons. And now a quick look at the backside. You have an on-off button, a screwable power supply input, USB-C port for computer connection, and USB-B port for storage and MIDI controller. Then for the outputs you have an headphones input and left and right 6.3mm mono inputs. Next to this is a stereo input with a dedicated gain control. This allows you to route audio in the Astro Lab, for example to use it with the vocoder. Beside this you have 2 assignable aux controls, expression and sustain pedal inputs, as well as a full-size DIN MIDI interface. You have already heard some sounds generated by the Astro Lab engine. This is based on the Bi-Timbrality Analog Lab Pro plugin. It uses in its turn the 10 synthesis types and 35 engines from the instrument plugins of the V collection and Pigment's synthesizer to generate the sounds in real time. However, this can only be tweaked to the same extent as in the Analog Lab Pro software. Users of the V collection and Pigments have 2 big advantages here. They can push the limits by opening the plugins in Analog Lab Pro and fine-tuning the sounds. so they can explore the full power and flexibility of Analog Lab Pro and of the Astro Lab hardware. Of course, you can also import your custom sounds created in the individual plugins into the hardware. This is, however, only possible in software and not in the hardware. Anyone who starts with Astro Lab naked, so without V collection or pigments, has access to over 1300 presets and projects out of the box. That's a lot of sound content. The software comes with over 2000 sounds that can be loaded straight into the hardware at any time. 9000 plus sounds if you have the entire package. Browsing and selecting patches are in the software simple and fluid. In Astro Lab, the experience is just inviting. For this, Arturia has developed an innovative operating concept using a fascinating, futuristic 3-in-1 tool in the middle of the hardware that bundles all the entire menu structure of Analog Lab Pro. It's round and is a screen, a 4-way button and a rotary knob in one. And just like with the software, the sounds are here categorized in different instrument types, and 10 instrument buttons on the right simplifies here the menu diving. Once you have selected type, you can then scroll through the individual sounds by simply rotating the big display knob. With a pure synthesis patch, loading takes around 1 or 2 seconds. If there are more in, like samples, then it takes around 5 seconds. And with a button press, you can also access the instrument type menu from the big knob. There is also a home menu where you can also search sounds by instruments, which is very practical. This way allows you to quickly search for a Minimoog, ARP 2600, Prophet 5 or so sound, which is very convenient here. Let's now talk about sounds. Each Astro Lab / Analog Lab Pro patch consists of 2 instrument parts max, so you get the Bi-Timbrality instrument here. You can play a single or 2 instruments at the same time by easily splitting or layering them on the hardware using the dedicated buttons next to the screen. What makes this splitting and layering powerful? Each instrument remains independent with its own parameters. Plus, you can also activate a flexible arpeggiator per part. It offers various rates, directions and options to sync. So you can have on the left hand an arpeggiator and on the right side a bass or lead sound. On the right side, you can edit your sounds on the hardware with the 4 colored macro knobs, brightness, timbre, time and movements, which are available for both layers. And also the knobs have 2 layers and they are fixed. But if you have the full Arturia software portfolio, let's say you have V collection or you have pigments, you can adapt them down to the last detail. There are also 4 effect parameters per instrument, 2 effects that can be changed in the Analog Lab Pro plugin, as well as a global delay and reverb. There is also a volume control. Especially handy in the layering or splitting mode are the colorful parameters, so you can always see which instrument you are currently editing. Scale support with a solid set of scale presets and a versatile chord generator are also integrated as playing helpers, two features that I really like. As an extra goodie, Astro Lab also features a MIDI looper. This captures the played notes and plays them back on the loaded instrument or multi-instrument. If you change now the patch, it plays the notes on this patch. You can also save the recordings. It's a shame that the MIDI looper doesn't have overdub in the current firmware. I hope this will be added in a later point. A straightforward hardware and software integration is very important in Astro Lab. To make this as versatile as possible, there are three ways to communicate with the software. Either the classic way via a USB-C cable or wirelessly via the built-in Wi-Fi. It doesn't stop there. In addition to the standalone and plugin versions for macOS and Windows, Arturia also offers the Analog Lab Pro software as an editor for Android and iOS, with which you can connect via Wi-Fi. In my testing so far, only the classic cable method worked. According to Arturia, the next firmware will fix the problem with the Wi-Fi, but it's nice that the option exists. And there's also Bluetooth on board. A quick look also at the hardware-software interplay. Once linked to the hardware, both are in sync. At the same time, a new section appears on the bottom of the software. You can then see all available sounds on the hardware in a list. Straightforward and well implemented in my opinion. If you click now through the sounds in the software, the sounds also change in the Astro Lab. It happens instantly without delay, even if you do it faster. If I turn the hardware, like here in the demo, it is reflected in the software. With another click on the edit button, you can also modify your sounds. One of the powerful features of the Analog Lab Pro software. Change an instrument from the multi, modify effects and more, or even open plugins if you have a license. And the software, either on your Mac or Windows or on your iOS or Android, is the center when it comes to patch import and export. You can easily load sounds onto the hardware, either by drag and drop or using a right click. It's very easy. Also in this section you can create your playlists and manage them, which can also be done in the hardware. Very practical when playing on stage. And now enough talk, it's time for more sounds.
all I've ever needed was an ice cold me. All I've ever wanted was an ice cold me. And all I've ever needed was an ice cold me. All I've ever wanted.
Yeah, I reached the end. I hope you liked my first look demo. The full review will follow on the website in the near future. My first impression is positive. The Astro Lab is an exciting stage keyboard / synthesizer. It's something fresh that has a different vibe. Technically speaking, even without tons of knobs, it's one of the most powerful and versatile digital synthesizers on the market. And as the V collection and pigments continue to grow in the future, the Astro Lab sound possibilities will also continue to grow. That's a very powerful aspect of the synth. And we don't know what kind of plugins we will see in the future. And Astro Lab will get soon an update to V Collection 10 with more instruments like the Mini Freak. One thing is also certain, it's not a synth for tweakers who want to craft sounds from scratch. It's a keyboard / synth for players, for musicians who want ready-to-use sounds. I also enjoyed here the interplay between hardware and software. There are still bugs here and there that still need to be fixed. Also, I hope that the MIDI looper will be expanded, but I'm really interested to see how the instrument will evolve in the future. And please let me know in the comments below what you think of Astro Lab. I would appreciate your input and maybe we can talk about it in a friendly way. Big thanks goes to my Patreon supporters. In case you don't know, Patreon supporters benefits from an ad-free version of this video and more. I will also publish a sound demo video on the channel. Patreon supporters will have early access to it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment and share the video. I would be super happy about it and it helps to boost the algorithm. It's free and helps me a lot. Big thanks in advance for your support and hope to see you again very soon in the next video. Bye!